Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Look what we have here, folks. Look what we have here. My. Have the tables have turned as Netflix suspends a trans employee who tweeted about Dave Chappelle's special. Guys, don't you just love it when the woke eats the woke, right? Because Netflix is pretty woke. And their woke employees came after them for the Dave Chappelle special for some jokes that he made about the LGBTQ community. And this right here is a obvious twist of fate, as usually what happens in situations like this, it ends up being the wokest winning, right? It ends up being the company apologizing and taking down whatever the woke were offended by. But in this situation, the main perpetrators of cancel culture got canceled, right? The people that usually do the canceling ended up getting canceled, trying to cancel Dave Chappelle because the company stood up. And you know why? Because companies do not have a so-called moral compass, right? They're not woke just to be woke because they agree with your movement. They're only woke because being woke to a certain extent is profitable, right? And Netflix chose profit over wokeness, which 10 out of 10 companies are going to do, right? That's the double-edged sword here that a lot of people don't realize when it comes to corporate America going woke. They're only woke for money, right? They're not woke because they believe the stuff, okay? And I think this situation truly outlines what I'm talking about. Netflix has suspended a trans employee who tweeted about Dave Chappelle's comedy special, The Closer. In the stand-up set, which was released on October 5th, Chappelle doubles down on his jokes about the LGBTQ groups. The next day, Netflix software engineer Terra Field tweeted about Chappelle, writing that the comedian attacks the trans community and the very validity of transness in the special. It says here, I work at Netflix. Yesterday, we launched another Chappelle special where he attacks the trans community and the very validity of transness, all while trying to pit us against other marginalized groups. You're going to hear a lot of talk about, quote, offense. We are not offended. It kind of sounds like you're offended, right? That's kind of what it sounds like. If you weren't, then you would not have tweeted that, right? That person essentially says, I'm offended, but I'm not offended. The tweet thread went viral, quickly spiraled into a conversation about free speech and cancel culture. Netflix then suspended Field, along with 2 other employees, for trying to attend a director-level meeting they weren't invited to. Another trans employee is quitting the company over how the Field's comments were handled. Okay, so I literally said this in my last video about this stuff, right? A lot of these people think they run these companies, right? That's essentially what was happening when I believe it was a writer. I think the name was like Jacqueline, something like that. Jocelyn, so I forget the person's name. There was a trans writer writing for the Netflix special show, Dear White People. And this person's like, I'm going to quit if you don't cancel Dave Chappelle. And you also have these stories of these people essentially saying, like, we demand that this company implement like trans awareness or trans educational like courses or content or trainings. Okay, they're essentially trying to dictate the HR policies of these companies, right? They're trying to run these companies. They think they run these companies. And Netflix is essentially showing here that no, you in fact do not run our company. We're using you, right, to make money because that's the profitable thing to do for now, but we're not going to go so woke that we cut our literally most profitable partner, right? We're not going to do that. They don't care how woke you are. And this is how these companies operate. And like I said, look, listen, don't get me wrong. Look, I have nothing against the LGBTQ community at all whatsoever. But, you know, my thing is this. I want equal rights for everybody. But it seems like some people, they just want special rights. And you can't have it that way, right? In comedy, everybody in every group is supposed to be roastable. You're supposed to be roastable, right? That's what makes comedy fun. And you're not going to ruin a space like comedy. Like a lot of other spaces have become pacified now, right? Because of this. Comedy can't be one of them, okay? It just can't happen. So, like I said, man, again, I don't have any problem with what you living your best life. I don't have a problem with any of that. It's just that I want true equality, right? That's all I want. The statement emailed to The Verge, a Netflix spokesperson pushed back against the idea that Field was suspended for tweeting. Quote, "It is absolutely untrue to say that we have suspended an employee for tweeting about this show." They said, "Our employees are encouraged to disagree openly and we support their right to do so." Sure, sure. The special has sparked significant controversy inside Netflix. Disclosure, The Verge is producing a forthcoming show for Netflix. Shortly after it came out, employees started asking pointed questions about whether or not trans people were included in the decision to air the special and where the company draws a line between commentary and transphobia. What? Listen, why is it that you got to have a seat at the table? Now, if you happen to be trans and you worked your way up into an executive position where you can make those decisions, great. But you just don't get a seat at the table because you're a part of some special group. That's not how it works, right? It's the same thing as when people say, I deserve a seat at the table because of my race, right? My race, you deserve to talk to my race about making your company policy just because I'm a certain race. Not because I earned the right to be in that position and to make those decisions. This is the exact same thing. And this bothers me because it's almost like merit doesn't matter, right? Like actually working to be in a position where you have a say so, that doesn't matter. You should just get a say purely based off your race or your gender or your sexuality. Again, I mean, it's ridiculous stuff. Quote, "We repeatedly provided platform for content that is harmful to the trans community," wrote a current employee in Netflix's open Q&A document. "These decisions have a material impact on our business, including harm to our current employees and talent declining to work with us. What is our plan on how we're going to repair this situation in particular? None of the questions seen by The Verge asked for the special to be taken down." Right. On October 8th, Netflix co-CEO Ted Sarandos responded to the emails in an internal email. Quote, "It never feels good when people are hurting, especially our colleagues," he wrote. Quote, "You should also be aware that some talent may join third parties in asking us to remove the show in the coming days, which we are not going to do." Dude didn't say we're going to think about it. Dude didn't say we're going to look into it. That's what most companies do, right? They say, oh, we're going to look into it, right? They're just like, no, we're not doing it. Sarandos also said that Chappelle's last special, Sticks and Stones, is Netflix's most successful, stickiest, and most award-winning stand-up special to date. Basically, what that means is that this is our moneymaker, right? And we're not going to let you come in between us and our money, right? This is why I try to tell people, man. People talk about racism, all this stuff. Like, no, bro. The only sex, the only gender, the only race that matters is green, dog. That's it. That's the only thing that matters. Okay? And this is a prime example. They're not going to get rid of Dave Chappelle because they can make more money off of Dave Chappelle than some of these other people. Okay? It's really that simple. He added, "Several of you have asked where we draw the line on hate. We don't allow titles on Netflix that are designed to incite hate or violence, and we don't believe the closer crosses that line. I recognize, however, that distinguishing between commentary and harm is hard." No, it's not. It's really not. Especially with stand-up comedy, which exists to push boundaries. Some people find the art of stand-up to be mean-spirited, but our members enjoy it, and it's an important part of our content offering. No, it's not. It's not hard to distinguish between commentary and harm, right? Like, harm is actually harm. Like, a threat of violence. That is harm. Commentary on giving your opinion to say, you know what, I don't like, this lifestyle, or I don't like, these people for this certain reason. That's not harm. You're not harming anybody. That's simply just free speech and commentary and opinion. Again, this is the thing, man. It's like people want to classify opinions as harmful, right? And that's what really bothers me. People are entitled to their own opinions, even if you don't like it. Okay? Even if you don't like it. That's what free speech is about. Okay? If I get butthurt by something, that doesn't mean it harmed me, right? It's not harming me. I'm just hurt. Okay? Your feelings can recover. It's fine. The Trans Employee Resource Group at Netflix has been meeting with executives for years to try and educate them about the impact of transphobic content, according to a current employee. When Netflix bought the movie Girl about 15-year-old ballet dancer preparing for gender confirmation surgery, it sparked multiple internal conversations about cisgender directors creating content about trans people. Again, they're meeting with executives to try to dictate HR policy. right? I mean, that's what you're saying. They're like, no, we run this company, okay? And when Netflix produces a movie, they're like, oh no, you guys had too many cisgender directors working on this, right? We run this. We didn't earn the right to be a director of a movie or to call the shots on who was gonna, be directing a movie. We just have a say so just because we work here. Again, this is an entitlement mentality, man. It's crazy. Soroto said that the company's commitment to inclusion is reflected in titles like Sex Education and Disclosure, a documentary about Hollywood's impact on the trans community. But one current employee tells The Verge they were not swayed by the statement, "You can't do a carbon offset for bigotry," they said during. Disclosure director Sam Felder also tweeted that Netflix rented the documentary for half of what it cost to make. Netflix has a long history with Dave Chappelle. In 2016, the comedian signed a deal to create 3 specials for the platform. 4 years later, Netflix pulled Chappelle's show from the streaming service at the comedian's request. It then reinstated it in 2021 after Chappelle's beef with Comedy Central died down. But while the comedian's earlier specials have drawn controversy, Chappelle's most recent has invoked a much stronger response. The Closer has drawn criticism from GLAAD, which wrote on Twitter that, quote, Dave Chappelle's brand has become synonymous with ridiculing trans people and other marginalized communities. In a statement to Variety, the National Black Justice Coalition said perpetuating transphobia perpetuates violence. Netflix should immediately pull the Closer from its platform and directly apologize to the transgender community. So the CEO's statement is below. We're not going to read that. But yeah, you guys get it, right? You understand that, this shows you exactly like what drives these companies, right? This is a prime example. At the end of the day, it's about profit, right? It's about profit. Dave Chappelle is at least not woke or upsetting the woke, and the woke complain, right, to a woke company, because don't get it twisted, Netflix is pretty woke. And guess what? The company said, we're going to choose profit over you, right? That's how it works, right? That's how it works. So it's kind of interesting seeing how the people who perpetuate cancel culture have now gotten canceled, right? By, again, a woke company. It looks like Dave Chappelle is right. He is uncancelable. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.